we will start, and people that join a little later will be accepted. Well, I would like to start by saying hi, good morning, and good afternoon to some others. On behalf of ImplementaSur and the Recycle Organics program, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you who are joining us today to our webinar, the first of a 2 webinar series. This one is called Beyond Disposal, Unveiling Success in Organic Waste Management. And whether you are tuning in from Latin America like us, or from the Pacific or the Caribbean, or other different corners of the globe, we are really excited to have you here with us today. My name is Felipe. I'll be moderating today's session. I'm part of the Recycle Organics program, and I work at ImplementaSur. It's really exciting to see how many participants have joined today and how many others have registered and will be joining later. And all of us sharing a common interest in organic waste management and how we can reduce methane emissions on the waste sector. As we start and get along on this webinar, I encourage you all to actively engage with us, and particularly with the speakers we have today and the other participants of the webinar. This webinar isn't just about listening, it's about sharing insights, about learning and asking questions, so we can start some interesting dialogues today. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to send them in the chat box that you can see below in your screen, and to see any clarifications or have some doubts or connect with other participants. Additionally, I want to remind everyone that today's session will be recorded. This ensures that those who won't be able to join today can see this webinar later, or any one of you that is connected can see it again if you have any doubts or want to go over any part again. Before we continue, I would like to take a moment to express our gratitude to Environment and Climate Change Canada, whose support has made this event possible. I would like, therefore, to go over a little overview of today's main topics. We will have a first brief presentation on technologies for organic waste management. After, we will have 2 very experienced and interesting presenters. Here, first, Mr. Shalend Singht from Lautoka City Council in Fiji, and there, Mr. Aporosa Silatolu from the Center for Appropriate Technology and Development from Fiji as well. After these 3 presentations, we will have a short period of questions when we encourage you all to participate. So I would like, therefore, to start by giving the floor to Stephanie Tulipano. Stephanie is a program officer at Environment and Climate Change Canada, where she supports the design and implementation of Canada's bilateral climate finance portfolio. Her work involves managing bilateral programs that help countries to strengthen their climate governance so that they can implement sustainable mitigation solutions and meet their nationally determined contributions under the Paris Agreement. Stephanie has a master's in climate change and a bachelor in geography and sociology from Canadian universities. And please, Stephanie, go ahead. The floor is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'd like to start by saying that I'm very pleased to be here on behalf of the Government of Canada to learn about your achievements in organic waste management. As we know, small island developing states are among the most impacted by climate change, and even so offer a significant source of inspiration for tackling the crisis. For this reason, Canada has decided to prioritize support for small island developing states as part of its $5.3 billion international climate finance commitment. Under this commitment, we are contributing $7.5 million over 4 years through a program called Recycle Organics to help 6 small island developing states reduce methane emissions from organic waste and achieve their nationally determined contributions. Reducing methane is one of the fastest and most cost-effective ways to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius and meet the goals of the Paris Agreement. As such, Canada, as signatory to the Global Methane Pledge, is proud to share with 156 other jurisdictions the common goal of reducing methane emissions by at least 30% by 2030, including from waste. Managing waste helps to address the third largest source of methane and also helps to meet a myriad of sustainability goals. Addressing waste can help create jobs, extend the life of existing landfills, mitigate land and water pollution from leachates, and also helps to reduce reliance on fossil fuel energy and chemical fertilizers. Canada first started Recycle Organics in collaboration with Chile. And through this program, Chile was able to scale up 22 organic waste projects throughout the country, develop home composting and vermicomposting plans, and develop an MRV framework for emission reductions in the waste sector. By doing so, Chile was able to leverage over 25 million in investments from the private sector and also develop a new bill that aims to prevent organic waste from ending up in landfills. Importantly, their achievements in organic waste management are still rippling throughout climate spaces on an international scale and are being used as successful models and practices. Our current program intends to build on this momentum by continuing to prioritize country-driven priorities and initiatives that will allow small island developing states to progress in ways that make sense to them and are therefore sustainable. The goal of this program is to strengthen climate governance and promote a paradigm shift away from the traditional disposal of waste to a more circular economy model. The program also intends to foster collaboration, knowledge exchange, and capacity building through discussions like the one we're having today. I hope that the lessons and experiences shared can help inspire a path forward for a more sustainable and resilient future. And with that, I would like to thank both the Center for Clean Air Policy and ImplementaSur for organizing this webinar, and to both the speakers for their participation. I look forward to the discussion. And on behalf of the Government of Canada, I would like to accentuate that we look forward to continue working with small island developing states, including Fiji and Samoa, to tackle methane emissions from organic waste. Thank you, and back to you, Felipe.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. To continue then, I would like to give the word to Gerardo Canales. Gerardo is a founding partner of ImplementaSur and founder of the Recycle Organics program back in 2017. He has more than 20 years of experiences in areas such as circular economy, green finance, and sustainable development policies with a focus on waste management and implementation of mitigation measures. Go ahead, Gerardo.
Thank you, Felipe. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Special thanks to Stephanie and the Government of Canada for supporting this program, and also to the fantastic speakers that we have aligned for today, and of course the participants. I would like just to give you a short introduction about the Recycle Organics program. Next slide, please, Felipe. We started this program in 2017 in Chile, also with support from the Canadian government, and today the program is covering several countries in the Global South. The main target has always been to reduce greenhouse emissions from the waste sector, and along the way we have learned many things, among them that composting at home can have an impact beyond of what we thought initially. For example, if a family of 4 has a home composting device, that could result in higher emission reductions than leaving the car at home, for instance. So this is just an example of how important is to develop further knowledge on this area and try to expand the good practices among our countries. Next one, please. There are, in addition to emission reductions, there are several benefits of treating or valorizing organic waste properly. We can, for instance, maybe the most important one is that we can get those nutrients back to the soil by transforming organic waste into digestate or composting. We can reduce, therefore, the use of chemical fertilizers, which also reduces greenhouse emissions. We can improve the management of organic waste at municipal level also, like, for example, landscaping and pruning waste from municipalities. We can create additional jobs. We can generate renewable energy. Of course, when managing better organic waste, we also put more attention into what we are wasting or sending to the garbage bin. So has been studied that also our behavior in terms of food loss is also improved. We are more conscious about how we manage our organics at home. And of course, very important for landfill operators and for municipalities in particular, organic waste represents 50% of our waste in average in our countries. So by diverting the organic waste from landfills to more beneficial types of treatment, we can extend the lifespan of the landfills, which is a big headache for many districts today because there is no more space close to the generation points, and also, of course, as you know, landfills have high impacts on the community that surrounds them. Next one, please, Felipe. So basically, our program takes a three-leg approach when trying to support countries transitioning to a new waste management paradigm. We work supporting or providing technical assistance to improve policy frameworks, which are very important to enable these new technologies or this paradigm shift. In the global south in general, the countries where we work, landfilling is today the main solution for waste management, and we want to move towards a more sustainable array of options. So improving policy frameworks is very important. While changing the policy can take maybe several years, and it's more like a long-term goal, accelerating projects is something that we want to promote from the beginning. So that's also another line of work, very important in our program. So Recycle Organics tries to provide technical assistance to project developers to accelerate the implementation of their ideas. Beyond trying to manage the methane gas that is coming out of our landfills today, we need to start diverting organic waste as soon as possible. So that's why accelerating projects is so important. And finally, but very important, knowledge sharing within our community. It's also a key goal for us. We believe that improving the awareness around this issue from decision makers to citizens, it's key to accelerate action. And in particular, we want to promote knowledge sharing between our countries, south to south, collaboration, exchange of knowledge. There are many initiatives, many successful projects already happening in our countries. So that's why Recycle Organics puts a lot of emphasis in trying to connect different practitioners, project developers, agencies. Then we can all learn from each other. And I think that's the main objective of our webinar today. Next one, Felipe. I don't know if there is another one. I think just one more. So yeah, just to leave you with an idea of which are the countries today participating of the Recycle Organics program in the different areas. So please feel free to contact us in case you would like to contact practitioners in our countries. And through the development of the program, we will have several webinars like this and other activities where we would like you to actively participate and connect with others and take advantage of this program in order to accelerate your own initiatives. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the webinar today.
Thank you very much, Gerardo. To continue, I would like to give the floor to Montserrat, who will give us an overview with some key points on organic waste management technologies. Montserrat is an analyst at ImplementaSur and part of the Recycle Organics program. Please go ahead, Montserrat.
Thank you, Felipe. Can you hear me? Okay, perfect. Well, as Felipe said, I will present an overview of technologies dedicated to organic waste valorization, including composting, home composting, and anaerobic digestion. Next slide, please. First, I'm going to talk about composting. Composting is a decomposition process of organic waste conducted by microorganisms in the presence of oxygen. Compost is the product obtained from the composting process. It is a soil amendment that increases physical, chemical, and biological properties of soil. There are two types of waste utilized in this process. First, brown waste, such as leaf litter, wood chippers, or pruning material with a high carbon content, and green waste, such as food scraps containing high nitrogen content. Both waste types play a crucial role in ensuring the proper decomposition of organic matter into compost. Next slide. Larger scale composting can be carried out through forced aeration or in open piles. In open piles, it's stacked with a 3:1 carbon to nitrogen volume ratio and periodically turned. The structure of the compost piles allows for good air circulation and natural thermoregulation. On the other hand, in forced aeration, waste is stacked with a 2:1 carbon to nitrogen volume ratio and covered with impermeable and breathable materials. The main difference with open piles is that a mechanical equipment is used to force air circulation inside the compost pile. Next slide, please. Regarding the operational parameters, the times of composting process vary greatly depending on the climate, benefiting from warm climates where the process takes less time. The frequency of turning is also relevant for the process, where more frequent turning allows aeration to accelerate the process. In the slides, you can see a table where is an example in St. Lucia of a composting project and the number of turnings per week. As you can see, in this case, as the composting process progresses, the number of turning needed decreases. Also, it is important to note that composting can be done on small scales without the use of machinery, using, for example, only shelves for turning the piles. However, for large-scale composting operation, machinery such as shredders and compact loaders are required to enhance the process. Next slide. Regarding the economic parameters for this technology, for large-scale composting plants with capacities ranging from 1,000 to 200,000 tons per year, the investment cost can vary between $75 and $250 per ton a year, and the operational cost can vary between $40 and $45 per ton. It is important to note that the values in this table are only for reference. Based on our experience, the capacity of the plants can vary from 200 tons per year to 400,000 tons per year. In order to increase a successful business model for composting, it is important to consider a few factors. First, it is crucial to identify potential markets for compost. Secondly, find stakeholders who might be interested in implementing these projects. Thirdly, space requirements for the project's facilities need to be taken into account. And lastly, legal conditions, especially concerning the use of the land, should also be carefully considered. Next slide. When composting, it is important to consider economies of scale that can reduce operational cost. The chart in the slide shows the amount of organic waste treated at different compost facilities in different countries, and the red line represents the operational cost of these facilities. And as you can see, as the treated capacity increases, the operational cost decreases. Next slide. Here you can see successful composting facilities. The picture on the right shows a pilot of forced aeration composting that was financed by Recycle Organics in 2021 in La Pintana. La Pintana is a district in Santiago, Chile, which has fewer resources than others. And despite this, they have managed to be an example of organic waste management. In the picture, you can see the pipes for forced aeration. On the left side of the slide is a picture of a small-scale composting plant in a resort in Belize. This compost facility solves two main problems. First, allows the resort to improve the quality of the soil by using the compost, so they can produce organic vegetables for the restaurants in the resort, and also saves them transportation costs of organic waste. Now I'm going to talk about home composting. Home composting has the same process as large-scale composting, but in this case, it's done autonomously in home, schools, or in some cases, small communities. It is a powerful tool for households or small communities seeking to reduce their environmental impact. Home composting presents a cost-effective solution, making it an excellent opportunity for municipalities. By implementing home composting, municipalities can reduce costs related to waste collection, transportation, and disposal. There are different types of equipment for home composting. There are composting bins, which are containers that hold organic waste that then turns into compost. We have rotating composting bins that facilitate the turning and aeration of the organic waste, speeding up the decomposition process, and auto withdraw that consists in layering organic waste in an open area, commonly in gardens. This allows treating larger quantities of organic waste. Next slide. The successful implementation of home composting relies on motivating citizens to adopt this activity. To achieve this, several measures should be taken, including encouraging active participation by providing support and training, offering incentives such as reduce waste management fees or provide access to home composting equipment, and establishing monitoring systems to ensure that the equipment is being used correctly and to see if additional support or training is needed. By taking these actions, we can increase awareness and participation in home composting. Next slide. In these pictures, you can see equipment donations made by the Recycle Organics program in 2022. These activities generate big engagement with the community and also generate big visibility. Next slide. Lastly, I'm going to talk about anaerobic digestion. Anaerobic digestion is a biological process where a group of microorganisms, in the absence of oxygen, breaks down organic materials. This process can be used to treat large varieties of waste, such as manure, food waste, as well as paper and some chemical industry waste. Through the anaerobic digestion process, two products can be obtained. First, biogas. Biogas is a source of energy that can be used like natural gas to provide heat and generate electricity, among other uses. And then we have digestate, that is the residual material left after the digestion process. It has liquid and solid components that, when separated, can be utilized for various purposes, like fertilizer and soil enhancement. There are different types of anaerobic digestion systems. First, we have the complete mixed biodigester, which is a cylindrical tank above ground or underground pits. We have covered lagoons, which are anaerobic systems with an hermetic cover to prevent gas leaks. We have continuous flow or plug flow, that are these cylinders tank where fresh waste enters one end and byproducts are expelled on the other end. And lastly, we have upflow, a sludge blanket, that is a column filled with media holding a thin bacteria film. The choice of anaerobic digestion systems depends on factors like climate conditions and the type of waste utilized in the process. Regarding the operational parameters for anaerobic digestion, the type of bacteria that grow in the biodigester depends on climate conditions and the optimal temperature for their metabolic activity. In temperate climates with cold winters, psychrophilic bacteria prevail. In warm climates with short, cold winters, mesophilic bacteria are favored. Meanwhile, in tropical climates, thermophilic bacteria prevail. It's crucial to highlight that the biogas yield in the anaerobic digestion depends on the types of feedstocks utilized. Some commonly used feedstocks are agricultural crops, manure, and food waste, among others. Next slide. Okay. Regarding the economic parameters for these technologies, for large-scale facilities of a scales capacity ranging between 20,000 tons per year to 240,000 tons per year, the investment cost can vary between 140 and 250 US dollars per ton a year, and the operational cost can vary between 20 and 60 US dollars per ton. On the other hand, modular systems can be implemented with smaller scales ranging from 5 tons per year to 13 tons per year. These systems can have investment costs of about 120 to 170 US dollars per ton of waste per year. It is important to note that these modular systems allow for several units to be installed to increase the capacity. In order to create a successful business model for anaerobic digestion, similar to composting, it is important to consider a few factors. In first place, it is crucial to have trained and qualified workers. Secondly, identify potential markets for digestate. And thirdly, sustainable demand for electricity or heat. And lastly, legal conditions, especially regarding the use of land, should be considered. Next slide. Here are some successful cases of anaerobic digestion. First, showcased on the left side of the slide, we have the biogas systems implemented by the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment in Samoa. These images display two types of systems, modular setups at the top and concrete digesters at the bottom, designed by the project. Then, moving to the right side of the slide, we find another concrete digester successfully installed at the Youth with a Mission in Samoa. These systems have proven highly effective, providing valuable digestate and fertilizer and biogas for cooking within the community. Okay, so to conclude our presentation, there are a few key takeaways for building a sustainable future in waste management. In first place, technologies like composting or anaerobic digestion may pose potential high investment costs. Nevertheless, there are strategies to enhance affordability, such as promoting community or intermunicipal projects. Additionally, exploring suitable financing schemes or seeking to non-reimbursable funds can be essential. It is noteworthy that accessing these funds requires well-designed projects. Secondly, a robust business model is essential for the long-term sustainability of waste management operations. Project developers must ensure markets for byproducts, a sustainable income of organic waste, and find stakeholders interested in such projects. Thirdly, the consideration of the local context is essential in developing effective waste management projects. Developers must identify the most suitable technology according to a context, taking into account climate conditions, space requirements, and type of feedstock, among other factors, and incorporate them in the design. Lastly, waste management technologies not only reduce waste, but also provide sustainable environmental and social benefits. Implementing these projects can enhance public awareness, create jobs, encourage innovation, and promote responsible waste disposal habits, contributing to a cleaner environment. These benefits must be identified, quantified, and valued by stakeholders and decision makers. That's why our goal is to support these projects with the hope of witnessing more of these great initiatives in the future. Our commitment is to unite efforts for a future where sustainable waste management practices can thrive. Therefore, we send an invitation to everyone to contribute to fostering a positive transformation in waste management. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Montserrat. Well, moving on, I would like to give the floor to another of our speakers, Mr. Shalend Singht. Mr. Singht is the acting manager of health services of Lautoka City Council in Fiji. He is chair of Pacific Regional Disaster Waste Management Technical Working Group. He has over 25 years of environmental, health, and work experience, and local expertise in the field of disaster waste management, solid waste management planning, landfill management, and 3R promotion. With no further ado, please, Mr. Singh, you should be able to share your screen now. I'll stop sharing.
Thank you, and good morning from Fiji. In fact, it's a pleasure for me on behalf of the Lautoka City Council to share our experiences and lessons learned on two very important issues that we have trialed and practiced here in Lautoka. That is market waste composting and home composting. And I also like to thank my council management for giving me support to come and share the story of Lautoka City Council here today. Thank you. Briefly, the introduction and the context of our project. In the context of Lautoka City Council, the project was implemented in Lautoka City, Fiji, and in Nandi under the Waste Minimization and Recycling Promotion Project, which was known as the Fiji's 3Rs project. It was implemented through JACA's technical cooperation from October 2008 and up to March 2012. The project focused in strengthening the capacity of the local staffs to promote waste minimization or 3R promotion. The baseline surveys that was conducted with the help of JACA, we noted that it was crucial to decrease the amount of organic waste, which accounted for 67.5% of municipal solid waste being generated in Lautoka City. The local counterpart staffs of Lautoka and Nandi were dispatched to a number of similar composting sites as a part of capacity building to adopt the best practices which could be applicable in Lautoka. After a series of trial and error method, the counterpart staffs in consultation with the JACA expert team members, we adopted the heap method for market waste composting, which was proven to be cost effective and very practical. And for home composting, we adopted the ready-made 225 liters rotomold compost bins that I'll be sharing later on. So this was some of the small composting projects that we trialed and errored by the counterpart staffs with the help of JACA experts, using the home drums, the box method, the simple ground method, the pit method, which we know as the banana cycle, the rotomold compost bins, the electric static pile, and the heap pile, and the windrow method. So we finally selected the ready-made 225 liter compost bins for home composting and the aerated heap method for market waste composting. The objective of the project was to minimize, obviously, the organic waste, which accounted for 55% of the household waste generation and 67.5% of the municipal solid waste generation amount in Lautoka City. Why composting? Obviously, to reduce the waste collection and transportation costs to the landfill site, to reduce the landfill waste management cost and increase the lifespan of the disposal site. It is an environmentally friendly way of recycling organic waste, as we all know, and we had this morning from the other speakers, and to avoid unhealthy and anti-environmental practices, example, open burning of organic waste, which creates a smoke nuisance, a health and safety hazard, littering of organic waste in public places, waste scattering by dogs of the household waste, and also to prevent the accumulation of waste in the backyards, which also breed breeding vectors of rodents at residential areas. Going on, as we know, as we had this morning also, composting can provide a source of organic fertilizer with very least effort. Compost supplies needed nutrients, improves the soil structure and water storage capacity of the soil. Through composting, we can promote backyard gardening, beautification, and also healthy living, because the whole family gets together and do composting. It also is a sustainable approach of managing waste, taking into consideration the conservation of the natural resources and our future generations. As we know, currently we are facing threat from climate change and global warming. So we need to manage our waste properly. And home composting and market composting are two ways we can do that. It's also a form of environmental education for the citizens and children. It's a fun way of getting together and do composting. And finally, through composting, we can address the issues of public health complaints from neighbors, neighbor disputes. We can solve the landfill problems of foul odor, vector or rodent breeding, and leachate generation, and also prevent flash flooding, as you can see in the pictures, because when people throw organic waste in the drains, it blocks and causes flooding. So we can help all these problems through practicing the composting at a household level or municipal level. The other area, we did a survey evaluation with the help of JACA, and there are a number of activities: home composting, the clean schools program, the market-based composting, green waste chipping and recycling, and also the separate collection of recyclables. So from technical aspect and people's acceptability, the financial aspect and waste minimization, we found that home composting was the first, the priority for us, followed by a clean schools program and market-based composting. So in fact, we are doing all these 5 activities, but just to share that home composting and market composting is right on top. So that is why we feel that home composting is very important for us to practice in municipalities. This is another reason just to show the result of the composition. So that is why we practice composting to minimize the organic waste. As you can see, the portion of organic waste is around more than 60%. The pictures, while composting, obviously to prevent litter, to prevent the scattering of waste by dogs, and also to prevent open burning of organic waste, which creates smoke nuisance, greenhouse emissions, and also provide manure for the gardening for vegetables at home. Coming to the implementation plan, how we implemented the market-based composting. So obviously we did a lot of planning and organizing. So we started off with awareness for the vendors on waste separation. Then we provided the separate bins for organic waste and other waste. And then we had an open truck for separation on the truck, which helps in the separation by the workers. So once they collect the waste from the vendors, if it's not properly separated, we do further separation on the truck. And then from there, we go to our composting site where we weigh the waste and we dispose. And then after that, we do further separation, cutting the smaller pieces and pick other waste which are not compostable. And then we tan the heaps, obviously for 1 or 2 months. And then once the product is matured, we do the sieving, packing, weighing, and sealing. And then we sell to our citizens at the rate of $3. It used to be $3. Now it has gone to $3.16 because of the taxes that we have to reduce. For the home composting, this is very interesting. So we adopted the home compost subsidy program with the support of council. So we buy the compost bin manufactured by a local manufacturer in Fiji. The price they sell to us is $115. So we sell to the citizens at a rate of $31.80. The remaining we bear the cost. The council bears the cost. And I'm thankful to my council for supporting this. So how we did this? Obviously, the staffs were given chance to do trial and error on their own. So we practiced composting for 6 months in 2008 to 2009. And then from there on, we shared to the citizens our knowledge and experiences. So we do awareness to the community through house-to-house visits, community trainings, and then following that, the residents visit the council, make orders for compost bins, and then we deliver. We deliver the compost bin to the citizens, and we do training for them and set up the compost bins. So it becomes easy for them, and we give them the manuals and other pamphlets with them. And the citizens, they use the composting, and we go on with our volunteers from JACA and other volunteers. We do monitoring for 2 rounds, after which they continue composting, and you can see the benefits of composting. So this is going on for market-based composting. As you can see, we adopted the open aerated heat method, and it's located. We are blessed that it is located at the landfill site, so it becomes easy for us to manage. There's no issue of any nuisance and sorting. So market waste is mostly separated on a truck by the market cleaning staffs and transported to the composting site. And organic waste is composted using the weighbridge at the landfill site. And our 3R workers, the handymen, they manage the composting facility by separation, by sieving, weighing, and delivery to the sales center. At times, we also use organic waste, which is condemned for disposal by us, the health officers. For example, the potatoes, the rice, the peas. So we mix it with the composting pile. And dried grass and old wood chips, which we chip, is also used for composting, the old stocks. And waste from vegetable and fruit companies is also given to us for composting because they have to pay for disposal. So if they give it to us, they don't have to pay anything. So it's an incentive for them. And it takes from 6 weeks to 8 weeks for compost to mature, depending on the weather, the frequency of tanning, and the type of compostable materials that we input into the heap. So these are some pictures, separation truck, unloading and tanning by the excavator at the composting facility. We also have the shed there, which we also trialed, but we found that the open composting is better than the shed because there's issue of tanning and access by heavy machinery. But we tried both. So these are some pictures showing our activities, the mature compost piles, the using of the shredder to further shred the compost materials. This is the heaps. Heaps is around 3 meters in diameter and about 2 meters in height. And those is our simple sieving that we use with the roller to become easy for our workers to sieve. And you can see the quality of the compost material that we pack and sell to the citizens. And it is sold from our recycle center. For composting, as I mentioned, we are using the compost bins, ready-made ones. And currently, as I speak, there are about 559 residents who are using compost bins. So from with the JACA study, from the people who are using compost bins, we did a survey for 6 months. And we found that in average, of course, people can do more, but average, it's about 105 grams of organic waste per person per day that can be composted. That is something that we noted. For the EI estimation, using 559 bins, we can estimate 107 tons per year. So that is huge for us, for a small municipality. So 107 tons of organic waste is composted by the 559 residents who are using compost bins. And we do awareness through billboards, Facebook posts. If you like Lautoka City Council, you can see the poster. We have community meetings, local newspaper. We have banners in the office. So when people visit the office, they can see composting, how we promote. We promote this through Clean Schools program. There are 37 schools who are participating in this program. We run it in the TV and radio. And also we have the TV documentary that we did with the JACA project. We also do composting bins as set up, so they don't have to take it, transport problems. We deliver to the homes, we set it up, and training is provided. And we also do monitoring of the compost bins. This is an example of a very community in Lautoka known as Koropita. This is a model community. In this community, there are 250 families. Out of that, 65 families are sharing the compost bins. So one compost bin is shared by 3 families. So you can see the pictures, how we did the project with these communities. And it is working out very successfully in this community. As mentioned previously, we need, of course, the wet and the greens and the browns to maintain the carbon and nitrogen balance. This is what we promote to the communities when we present or deliver the compost bins. To ensure that there's no nuisance, and we harmonize the composting process by maintaining a balance in the mixture. There are some steps in composting, so we promote separation in the kitchen or somewhere near the kitchen, and they dispose and they do practice the composting process. Obviously, there are some issues that we encountered during the monitoring. If it's too wet, we'll encounter problems of smell nuisance, maggots. If it's too dry, there'll be issue of cockroaches or other rodents coming in. And if it's too dry, also the composting process will be very slow. So it will take very long for composting to complete. And these are obviously some good examples that we could note from our monitoring. So we can see these are some good examples. For the business model, for market waste composting, we are proud to share that the compost, all the compost that we produce so far is sold to citizens. There's no stocks available in the balance. So it's good news. And we do continuous awareness to ensure that we sustain the demand and the market for the compost. The market organic waste is used. So the source of the feed for the composting pile is the market organic waste with the grass clippings from the parks and all the stocks of wood chips that we chip, the condemned food stocks and waste from the fruit and vegetable companies. So we have established a very good market for the compost. In fact, we cannot supply or we cannot meet the demand from the citizens. So citizens make orders and pay at the council cashier, and they collect for compost from the nearby cycle center. And this is very convenient for the customers. And we keep record of the sales, including the customer information. And our reports reveal that the same customers are coming back to buy it. So which shows that our compost is of good quality and they like our compost. Some of the results, so estimated from our results from 2011, we found out that estimated 250 to 286 tons of market green waste can be separated and composted per year, depending on the supply of vegetable waste, the availability of our staffs, and most important, the council open track for separation on the track. So this is the factors that we affect our composting process. At times our trucks break down for months, so we cannot do composting. So that's frankly share with us. And council has managed to sell 135 tons of compost since 2011 at a subsidized rate of $3.16 per 10 kg. And I think the colleagues listening out there, this is very cheap, maybe the cheapest in the world. $3.16 per 10 kg. It's very cheap. And we sustain the little bit of income from that. It's not to make a profit, just to promote this. The little bit income we get is used back into the project. And from our monitoring and the records reveal that the final product is around 5.7% of the initial organic waste that we input into the compost. And revenues is used to sustain the project in terms of wages, site upkeep, the purchase of compost bags, awareness, the purchase of compost bins, the fuel, separation costs, etc. And I've shared the result of the composting, home composting. So around a year, we managed to recycle about 107 tons of organic waste per year. And this leads to savings in landfill management cost of $1,337 per year. I mean, for us, a small council, this is a good result that we feel. These are some graphs to share. So as you can see, we reached the maximum of in year 2018, 286 tons of organic waste that was composted from the market waste composting. And then in blue, we can see the compost sold to the citizens. And lately, you can see the trend is dropping because we had issues with our transport. Our transport for the open track that was used for composting was breakdown for months and months. And it's really impacted our ability to do composting for separation. Because without separation, we cannot do composting. So that was critical. So we are looking in addressing this issue. Some benefits, as I mentioned, so the tons sold is 134 tons, savings in landfill management cost per year at $12.49 tons per year. We can see the savings in landfill cost, the sales of compost at $300 per ton, and the total benefits. This is a small revenue we can generate apart from the environmental benefits that we produce out of the composting. This is the nutrient content analysis. As you can see, for us experts, you can see we compared our market waste compost, the nutrient content with the Sibusi compost. And we can see that it's almost same. So it is in par with other compost from other countries. So we're very proud of our compost quality that we are producing in the Lautoka City Council. Some challenges, source segregation and the problems containing the contaminants. This is a problem for us. Transport availability, as I mentioned, affects our composting process. Because without transport, we cannot do proper composting. If there's too much moisture or insufficient addition of browns or dry matter or rain, it affects, makes it more moisture. or lack of steady supply of vegetables in the market affect the organic feed. The potential problems of odors, vermins, or leachate if not managed properly. If it's too dry or dry weather or low percent of greens, then composting is affected. The big particles, it takes time to break down. And this lack of interest sometimes in composting, in terms of home composting, and lack of experience in home composting that we know from our monitoring. Factors of success, we found that by separation on the track, we can achieve higher separation rate. Tanning by excavator really helps in the composting process. Landfill site makes it easy for doing composting. Our 3R handymans are very crucial for us to manage the compost site. Continuing awareness is very important. The demand for compost we have sustained now helps us in the composting process. Mixing of the old chips and the grass helps in the composting. It's very important that we do monitoring and weighing to have the data management system. The trial and error method by counterparts was proven very crucial for us. JACA's cooperation and help really help us in establishing this system. The capacity building of the staffs going to CBC, Japan, and other areas to learn helped really motivated us and helped us to do composting. I'm thankful to JACA for that. And counterparts and experts working together, it's really helped us to blend and make this project a success. And then I'm thankful to my council for the subsidy program, whereby we are paying the part of the cost for home composting. Thank you. And now I'd like to share some pictures of our awareness materials. So first of all, we established our logo and slogan for the city for environmental campaigns. It's evergreen, ever clean Lautoka City. That goes in every material or materials that we print by council. Letterhead or envelope, it goes on there. And this is the logo or image for the compost bin. And also we have the DVD promotional materials. This goes on our main billboard in the city center to promote composting. So council takes seriously in composting the compost bins. Other awareness materials, we had Arigato Aid project where we have the recyclable redeem system. We tried this, was very successful. And other awareness materials that we did in pull down banners and other things to create awareness for the citizens. And most importantly, we are working with the 37 schools in the school programs to deliver this, share this knowledge. So that's all from Lautoka City. And thank you all for your attention. I hope the presentation was interesting. Vinaka.
Thank you very much, Mr. Singh. A really, really interesting presentation.
Thank you.
I now would like to give the word to Mr. Aporosa Silatolu. Mr. Silatolu is the director of the Center for Appropriate Technology and Development located in Suva, Fiji. He has a Bachelor of Commerce in Accounting and Financial Management and a Bachelor of Arts in Economics and Banking. And he is passionate for rural youth empowerment and changing mindsets through education. Aporosa, whenever you want, I think you are also able to share your screen.
Okay. Okay. Belum nak everyone. Once again, from the team in Fiji, good morning. So I represent the Center for Appropriate Technology and Development. It's a vocational school basically, and it's based in Nandawe, Bawin Telip. So being that's an aerial shot of the institution that I run. In terms of um, the facility, so it's a boarding facility for 120 students. When you include the staff that also stay on campus, there's around 150 people. It was the project that we undertook here at CATD was basically part of our green. Given that we are a vocational center, we realize the importance of education in terms of changing mindsets. And in this regard, it's towards recycling and organic recycling for that matter. So last year, 2023, we piloted our plumbing cohort. Basically, so we use the anaerobic or the home biogas systems, but with the assistance and the install the home biogas systems, we were able to run an 8-week course biogas system before introducing disciplines like reducing. But one of the main reasons why we introduced the
Mr.
project,
Aporosa?
the home biogas project in CATD was mainly to reduce the gas bill. So it was more from an economic. So in terms of the institution itself, it's a vocational center. It's Fiji Higher Education Commission in Fiji. We offer fully accredited courses. It's funded by government who are borders, and it's a 1-year program where they basically stay in school. So in terms of the courses we take, yeah.
Sorry, I think your screen was frozen. I think now it moved, so we can see the right slide. Uh, I think you were sharing the desktop version.
Okay. This one?
The screen is loading.
The screen is showing or not?
Yes, it's showing now.
Okay.
Sorry for the interruption.
So yeah. So in terms of the courses that we take for the recycling bit, it's part of number 4, or plumbing and sheet metal curriculum. But it's important to note that we also have other like programs that we're doing that also deal with recycling of plastics and non-organic stuff. So, but it's all part of our greening of our Tibet courses that we are undertaking at the institution. But in terms of the organic waste recycling, it's part of our plumbing curriculum because the home biogas is taught through the plumbing curriculum in the trainees. So these are pictures of the home biogas systems that we have installed at CATD. So it's basically anaerobic digest systems. On the top we have a picture of the like a bio toilet system that was installed by our plumbers. And on the bottom picture we have our home biogas systems that's being connected to our kitchen, where we feed these 120 students for 3 meals a day, basically. So in terms of our contribution to impacting a better world, so in terms of the home biogas systems or the anaerobic digester systems that we've installed, ideally it will produce 9,000 hours of cooking gas. It will reduce 36,000 liters of waste. In terms of the byproduct or the fertilizer that it produces, it's around 45,000 liters of organic fertilizer, and also reduce carbon emissions by 30,000 kgs. So in terms of how we operate, so it, basically, since it's a school, a boarding school with 120 students, we factor the operations of the home biogas systems into the students' basically their program or their routines every day. So as they uh, do duties early in the morning and in the evenings after school, part of their duties is that they prep their meals. And in the prepping of their meals, all their vegetable peelings are actually put into the home biogas systems, which is, and we get the students to do this, so they are involved. So as you can see in the top right pictures, you have the students lining up for their duty. In the middle, there's a student that's doing vegetable peeling, so their root crops, cassava and taro. There at the bottom right hand is the student actually, as part of their duty, feeding the home biogas systems. And on the left hand side at the bottom is the stove, basically, that's connected from the home biogas system with the flame. You can see the flame is on. Whatever fertilizer that's being produced right now, we haven't reached the stage where we sell, but we're using it on our school farm so that it can we are planting the students' meals, basically. And at the top is the top left is a picture of a student with a meal. This is just yesterday. But it's become like a circular economy in that sense, where
Mr.
you
Aporosa,
note that, yeah.
sorry again. I think we froze again and we're still seeing a previous slide, so we can see the picture you're talking about. If you want, I can share your
This one,
presentation. We are seeing the fourth slide.
please.
Okay, give me a second and I'll share the presentation. What slide were you talking about, Mr. Aporosa?
Yeah, so it's this one. So it's basically shows the circular economy in terms of the students. Did you guys see this slide before?
No, I can go back if you want.
Yeah, so I think we just move on from this one. This one is okay.
Okay.
So, like not sure what you guys have heard, but the institution being a vocational center, boarding school, we make the program or the timetable for the students to get them involved in this the process of recycling in that sense. So on the top right hand picture, you'll see the students are lining up for their duties. So they have duties in the mornings and after school. And part of their duties, they have to prep their food. So whatever vegetable peelings and aloe peelings that they have, they make sure they put it into the home biogas system as part of their duties. So on the bottom left picture, you'll see the gas that's connected to the home biogas system. That's in the kitchen. It's so basically it produces around 5 hours of cooking gas every day. So it's really helping our kitchen staff to reduce gas. Whatever organic manure that we get as a byproduct goes into the school farm. Goes to the school farm so that we can produce the necessary vegetables and root crops to feed the 120 students that stay on campus. And then on the top left is a picture of a student from the meals that have been prepared. So it's a circular economy in that sense that they continue to do this cycle um, every day, basically. So next slide. So basically, from economic standpoint, as I mentioned earlier, how the initial intention of the project was basically to reduce our gas bills. But as you note from the line graph, you'll notice that our average gas bill is around $800 a month. In terms of the quantity of gas that we require, and this is the bill that we pay Fiji gas in terms of the number of kgs that we pay for. It averages around 200 kgs a month. But you'll note from the table on the right is that our student numbers have increased. So in 2022 we had 80 students. So the average, so 200 kgs a month divided by 80 students, our average gas per student was around 2.5 kg, the usage. But since we've increased our number of students from 2023 to 2024, somehow, and I believe this is a big contributing factor from the home biogas system, is our gas usage per student has actually gone down. Our initial investment for this home biogas system was, I forgot to put this analysis on the screen, but we spent around $4,500 per home biogas system. There's five. So we spent the investment was 20,000 Fijian dollars for the five home biogas systems that we have here at the school. At the rate of savings that we are noticing on this slide, it would take us at least 3 to 4 years to recover that investment. Because our number of students have gone up, but the number of gas usage per student has actually gone down by 1 kg. Which is an average savings of around $300 to $400 a month. So that's basically the economic standpoint of it. Next slide, please. So in terms of our lessons learned, for us, one of the biggest challenge is changing mindsets, and that's why here at CATD we believe education is key, and how the exposure and introducing new disciplines is important so that we can change the next generation's mindsets regarding this recycling. So I believe that exposure is important in that sense. But more to that, my last point is how, and this to me is the more exciting bit of what we're doing here at CATD, is actually getting a formal curriculum that's accredited by the education system so that it can be taught as a formal qualification in Fiji's education system. And that's, it's to me, it's the point of difference of CATD and what we're trying to do here. it's revolutionizing our education system to include these kind of green curriculums that can actually drive and influence a change in mindsets in that sense. As an example, we recently introduced the Sustainable Boat Building Program, and we are on the verge of getting it accredited by the Fiji Higher Education Commission, which is our regulatory body for curriculum development. And it's exciting in a way because in Fiji there's no such thing as this green curriculum. So similarly, so the Sustainable Boat Building Program that we're getting accredited sets the precedence for all the other green curriculums that we are. Anaerobic digestion system is part of that 8-week course that we want to get it formally accredited as well. But what it leaves for us to discuss as well is there's so many other types of recycle organic processes like we heard this morning that we could include as part of the curriculum, and we try and get it formally recognized. We're just using one, which is an aerobic digester system. I believe we could like open it up to include all the other types of organic recycling that we could formally put into accredited curriculum, that and we can see that education could be that change maker or the influence that changes the next generation in terms of what we're trying to drive it in that sense. Thank you. So that's basically all my slides this morning. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Aporosa. Really interesting on how education is key to share these kind of technologies. And that's that last point about how different technologies can be complementary to achieve treating organic waste. I think that's the main point. I would like now to give the floor to anyone who might have a question to Mr. Singh, to Mr. Silatolu, to Montserrat. You can raise your hand virtually, or yes, Andrew, please go ahead.
I won't take up much time. I just wanted to thank you both, Binakavakalevu, for your presentations. They were both inspiring. I've sent you both individual messages as co-hosts with all the details. Just wanted to point that out, and I won't say anything else. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. I don't know if anyone else wants to make a question or a comment. If not, we have a couple of questions that we would like to ask both of you. Well, maybe me first to Mr. Singh. You mentioned a little bit about the engagement you have tried to do with the community. Could you tell us a little more about what efforts have you tried to engage community participation in this program, particularly maybe in home composting that you said was a little hard? And what strategies you've seen work better than others, or what is your current approach now?
Actually, for us, we normally have the displays, display centers within our council offices. So where we have the banners and the compost bins eventually displayed for viewing by the people who visit the council or other businesses. So they get influenced to buy the compost bins. And also we work with the communities in terms of we have a local newspaper, City Star, that is operating from Lautoka City, which frequently shares our message about home composting. And then we found a powerful tool, which is the billboard. So we have a center of the city, a runabout, which goes to hospital and to the main city. So at the center, we put a big billboard promoting the home composting. So I think after we put the billboard, a number of people coming to city to us, to office, inquiring about the composting.
So sorry, Mr. Singh, I think we're hearing you a little low now. Like the volume dropped a little bit. At the beginning, we could hear you well, but now suddenly it started going low. No, I think we can't hear you now.
Okay, now?
Yes, now it's working again. Thank you.
Yeah. So I was sharing that we have a billboard system that we use. So at the common entrance to the city into hospital, we put a big billboard promoting the compost bin concept that we are promoting. So after we put this billboard, you can see a number of people are coming, increasing to us to apply for the compost bins. And also we have the Facebook, a very active Facebook account. So in the Facebook, if you visit and like, you will see that we always share about the compost bins. And people get interested to come and buy compost bins. This is how we engage with the community in terms of sharing the knowledge for them to influence them to come and buy the compost bins. No problem.
Thank you very much, Shalend. And maybe one other question to Mr. Aporosa. How have you perceived the interest and engagement with the students that have been part of the program, particularly in biogas?
So the students are very interested in the sense that it's very new technology, in the sense that even with the curriculum that we've been offering here at the institution has been here from 1980, so it's a 40-year-old institution, but we've never gone outside the scope of what we've taught. And what I realized when we introduced these new green initiatives, because they face this climate change. So the school is such that we recruit from the villages. So these are grassroots youths or Fijians that live in the village, and they are the first. They encounter climate change every day, in that sense. So when they come and learn and see these kind of new initiatives here at the institution, I feel that the interest is very high, in the sense that these students starting to explain how the system works, what benefits they are to, if they go back to their communities, what they can do. That's why I believe the exposure is important in that sense. And the challenge for us right now is how do we take this back to their communities now that they've been exposed to it. And I believe that's a challenge that I feel that even government policies should address in that sense, from a broader climate change perspective, in terms of how these students, having learned the new technology, there needs to be some kind of commercial aspect where they are able to take this knowledge back to their communities. But the interest is very, very, there's a lot of interest from these students. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know if anyone else from the audience has any questions. If not, I think we will start closing this webinar. I want to reiterate Montserrat's invitation to anyone who wants to contribute to fostering a positive transformation in waste management. As the Recycle Organics program will continue to work in these 6 countries in the Caribbean and the Pacific until 2026. So our main goal is to accelerate the implementation of these solutions and improve organic waste management. Moreover, with the Recycle Organics programs, we seek to generate a network of practitioners for knowledge sharing and collaboration, both as Gerardo and Stephanie mentioned in their opening words. And these activities are fundamentals, like this webinar, so we really appreciate your time and interest in this activity. Please reach out if you are working or implementing any organic waste management project and would like to work with us in the future. Thank you very much for your time, and have a great afternoon and a great rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.